Hello, welcome. Tonight we are, first of all, have our fire element. Coconut lemon smells so good. So I am selling manifestation candles. This one is coconut lemon. It smells so good. It's very soft and sensual. And so hit me up if you like one. I'm getting together my little store as I'm putting my products, building my products, and soon you will see a pop-up shop, right, where you can go in and search through the things that I have to offer. But if you want one, before I get the pop-up shop, let me know. All you have to do is comment and I'll make sure you get one. It's a manifestation candle, that one is. And so tonight we're coming on because we are taking a look at the question is, how are you being perceived this week? Okay, we're going to delve through all of the signs and see how you're being perceived this week. Let's see. I'm working with a couple of oracle decks and a couple of tarot decks. And so definitely going to take a look and see what's happening this week with your energy and how it's being perceived. My name is Letty. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. And if you're new, stopping by, make sure you take a look around. Lots of things on the page, more than just tarot. There's healing, things around healing and balance, awareness, tapping into gifts, lots of beautiful things, fun things. And so take a look around. If you feel led, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you'll be notified in case I post, okay? In case I post new content or go live. So we're starting with Pisces today. Pisces, how are people perceiving you this week, Pisces? How are people perceiving you this week? This is for Pisces. Welcome, Pisces. Ooh, so people may see you really tuning into yourself this week, Pisces. And for you, you could actually be really focused in on growth. People could see you in a healing mode, possibly in the energy of really stepping into this energy of really taking care of yourself or being very caring when it comes to you, right? And so people could see you in healing energy on this week, really directed and aimed towards yourself though. Also, people could actually perceive you to be going through some type of it almost feels like a moment where you are being pushed to grow, right? It could look like people are seeing you having a hard time, but also seeing this as a way of you actually being made to grow, right? People are perceiving you to be in this place of being challenged, right? To grow. And that could be growing in how you deal with things, growing in how you deal with yourself. You know, this could be growing in just life in general, okay? How are people perceiving Pisces this week, Spirit? Very abundant though. People are seeing you as very abundant. Possibly your experience this week is one where you're kind of stepping into new energy. And being a little bit content. As I said, it's that real heavy self-love energy. People are perceiving you as kind of lucky too. Like you're in this energy of not really needing anything, being really content right now. Financially, it feels like you could be working on saving up for something or working on building up your bank account, your finances, your materials, your resources. For those of you that are in this deep level of self-care, you're actually finding ways to better take care of yourself this week. People are seeing that. People could also see you having new opportunities to walk into situations around love. I have the 9 of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. But it feels like financially you're doing really good, very stable, very responsible too. People are seeing you kind of like handling, you know, your finances, handling your health, being a good steward of yourself right now. Very secure, maybe even having a raise in stature. So people are seeing you in a very high light this week. And possibly having lots of support as well. For there's something about you this week where people are going to want to be around you. There's something very attractive about your energy. People are going to want to be around you, whatever that is, Pisces, okay? And that's what I have for you, Pisces. And continue that growth. That feels really good to me. All right, we have Cancer. How are people viewing you this week, Cancer? Let's take a look. How are people viewing Cancer this week, Spirit? How is Cancer being perceived this week? How is Cancer being perceived this week? How is Cancer being perceived this week? How is Cancer being perceived this week, Spirit? For Cancer, how is Cancer being perceived this week? All right, so this week, Cancer, you could be being perceived as a team player, somebody who, there could be something this week where you need to come together with those who are like-minded, those who are, you know, part of your village, your clan, those who stand for things that you stand for, and you could be coming together to work to remove a certain element out of the community or out of your vicinity. So you're being viewed as a good communicator, and this may have so you may be like in a position to lead, right, a charge in regards to eliminating some type of problem or issue. But overall, it feels like you're being viewed as a asset to the team. You're being perceived as an asset because of your communication skills, your ability to communicate and possibly even motivate, right? How is Cancer being perceived this week? You're being perceived as a hard worker, someone who is not really looking for fast, immediate gratification, instant gratification. You're being perceived as someone who's willing to work and wait for what it is that they want, right? Maybe even, you know, and in kind of like the light of a farmer, because a farmer, you know, there's a process that the farmer understands. You know, there's the planting, and then there is the watering, and then comes a season where there's a harvest. But all of that shows that there's no immediate gratification, but it's a process, right? And so you're being viewed as someone who understands the process and someone who is willing to wait for what it is that they want, or wait to get a return on what it is that they've invested. You're also being perceived this week as someone who is very attractive. So my cards I got was the Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Three of Pentacles. And so you're being viewed as someone who is very attractive, someone who is trustworthy and affectionate, someone who is fertile, right? Wherever you go, there's change, there's growth that happens. Also, you're being perceived as someone who is very hardworking, and there's a level of notoriety that you'll be perceived in and being given like these accolades for how you do what it is that you do. People are perceiving your hard work and your commitment and your expertise and mastery and love for what it is that you do. People are perceiving you as different this week. There's something standoff, like something about you that stands apart from others. Definitely seeing the growth, and the people are seeing and perceiving your growth or your level up in some type of way. And so they're actually perceiving you in really good energy this week. It does feel like, you know, you have some type of level up that you're going through right now, and people are seeing that. They're seeing like you receiving the fruit of your labor, and, you know, this level of notoriety for what it is that you do. It feels really beautiful. And so they're seeing you in a really encouraging light, Cancer, this week. All right, Scorpio, you are 1345. How are we doing, Scorpio? Let's take a look and see how people are perceiving you this week. How are people perceiving Scorpio this week, Spirit? How are people perceiving Scorpio this week? Scorpio. How are people perceiving Scorpio this week? How are people perceiving Scorpio this week, Spirit? Scorpio. Ooh. So there could be things happening around you to kind of distract you. So people could see you as a little bit thrown off, or a little bit off your game, off focus for some of you. Or actually, I feel like people are seeing you in situations where it feels like people are trying to distract you, or things are trying to distract you. But I do feel like at the same time, there is a level of that distraction could be because of your sense of intuition this week. You're tapping into something that may be under the surface of what everyone else is seeing this week. It's being perceived as a distraction, but it's actually a deeper level of connection that you see and you feel with things that are going on in your surroundings. You may be, in fact, trying to figure something out, right? And people are perceiving that as you being a little bit put off, or a little bit off kilter than where you are normally. But it's because you are tapped in and you're seeing things on a deeper level. How are people perceiving Scorpio this week? I feel like you see something, Scorpio, that other people aren't paying attention to. They're definitely perceiving you as being a little bit disconnected. I'm going to say that. A little bit disconnected and kind of like cut off in some type of way, which makes you seem, it's interesting because when you're in this energy, this cut off energy, where you're a little bit distant, right? People actually see you more powerful. They see you more intelligent, right? When you're in that energy. And they see themselves set apart from you as well. That's very interesting. Very independent energy that they're going to see you in this week. How are people seeing Scorpio this week? There's going to be something when they're perceiving something about you that is a little bit familiar too. You're going to remind some people of someone from their past. And it's going to feel very reminiscent. There's something about you this week that's going to remind someone of their past, of someone from their past, or someone could be actually reminiscing on past times that you've had with them. And they're going to be perceiving you through that light instead of where you are right now. How are people going to be perceiving Scorpio this week? And when they actually look at you now, even though they're going to be thinking of the old you, perceiving who you used to be, it's going to be like night and day. They're going to actually see how you've changed, how you've actually grown. So they're going to actually perceive you in your growth, in your improvements from the past, right? I do believe people are actually going to perceive you for some of you. I know some of you it feels like a very disconnected energy, but I don't know if that's gonna cause people to be more drawn to you. Because it says there's some people are gonna perceive you in like a romantic, kindful, like they're gonna be drawn to you. I have the Queen of Swords, the Six of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Page of Swords. Like they're going to see you as someone they're going to perceive you as someone who has something that is of assistance for them. Like they're going to see you as someone who can help them. And for some of them, they're actually going to see you, somebody's going to perceive you as possibly peering into their lives in a way that might be a little bit intrusive. Somebody's going to perceive you as a stalker this week. And it may have something to do with the intuition that's drawing you in on a certain situation and causing you to really zone in and have a watchful eye because you're sensing something, right? Yeah. Somebody may be perceiving you as a stalker this week, Scorpio, because of your sixth senses that you'll be tapped into. 2150. Thanks, Scorpio. Leo. How are we doing, Leo? Let's take a look and see how people are perceiving you this week. How are people perceiving Leo this week? How are people perceiving Leo this week? For my Leo friends, how are people perceiving Leo this week? How are people perceiving Leo this week? Let's take a look. Leo. How are people perceiving Leo this week? Ooh. Okay. In terms of love and your connections, Leo, actually they're going to see you taken off with something, like very amped up and, you know, actually in a high place, taking advantage of the momentum. Whatever it is you're doing this week is going to have you kind of like on a high, taking advantage of that energy as well. And this could be your current connection. It could be someone who's interested in you in a romantic way that's actually seeing you on a high this week. And whatever that high is, you're actually taking advantage of that energy, right? And you are milking that cow, baby. And I do feel like this is going to be in regards to connections, are going to be perceiving you that way this week. So how are people perceiving Leo this week? Somebody's going to see you in a very integrous way in regards to work or whatever it is that you do for a living. The people are perceiving you as hardworking and loving what you do and taking pride in what it is that you do. How are people perceiving Leo this week? Ooh. How are people perceiving Leo this week? So with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles, I feel like people are going to perceive you, Leo, as being super busy, hyper focused on what it is that you're doing, so much so that they may have a hard time getting your attention. They perceive you as being just totally preoccupied and absorbed in what it is that you are doing. Now, this is how they're perceiving you. They're perceiving you as busy. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are busy. You may just look busy, right? This is how they're perceiving you, though. I also feel like, even for you, being in that reserved energy causes you to be a little bit more attractive, right? People are even more drawn to you when you pull back. And so because you're being perceived in this energy where you're not available, people see you more attractive. People are seeing you kind of like as this very energetic energy, very energetic, very independent, very smart, very capable, very observant. Like they see you as somebody that is cutthroat sometimes and don't take no mess. They're seeing you as someone who loves all the details. Like you want to know when, where, who, why, how, what, right? You want to know all the details. Someone who is very informed and resourceful. That's how they're perceiving you this week. They're also perceiving you as someone who's very stable, very grounded as well, and who takes, honor and pride in what they have, how they present themselves. And someone who's not quick to take risks, right? Not huge risks, right? But you're being perceived as someone who plays it safe. And someone who is actually loves security. You're being perceived that way. Someone who is secure and a safe space as well. I do see that someone could be viewing some of you still grieving this week with the Five of Cups on the bottom here. As you can see, she's kind of alone, just kind of in her own space. And there could be some that are perceiving this part of you. And this might be those that have a close connection with you from afar, right? You may not see this part, but for those that are close to you, they can see that. There's some part of you that may still be grieving or kind of thinking back over some things that you may have felt like you could have done differently or should have turned out differently. Also, there could be some part of you that is being perceived as being unfulfilled as well, is what that Five of Cups says. And so, but for the most part, I see people perceiving you, and this feels like people that are close to you. This could be people, for the most part, that have some type of connection, intimate connection with you, okay? But they're seeing you as strong. And you know what I'm hearing too? Rebellious. That isn't always a bad word. It could just mean that you have your own way of doing things. And you don't feel like you have to align yourself, with what other people expect, right? I'm hearing that for you, Leo. All right. So we have 3010 ending Leo. We have Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Let's take a look, Sag. See how people are perceiving you this week. How are people perceiving Sagittarius this week? How are people perceiving Sagittarius this week? How are people perceiving you, Saggy? Sagittarius. How are people perceiving Saggy this week? How are people perceiving Sagittarius this week, Spirit? How are people perceiving Saggy this week? Ooh. Okay. So there's some level of growth that people are perceiving you in, or perceiving about you this week. And this could have something to do with your finances. This could have something to do with your finances. So they're looking and seeing some level of growth around you as it pertains to abundance or prosperity. And there could even be people that's watching your pockets, right? And seeing there's some level of responsibility that is very active within you as it pertains to finances, or that's the way they are perceiving it, right? So where you would normally be very open and, you know, going about just being really loose, maybe with your finances, people are noticing that actually you've pulled it back. You're doing something different. You're utilizing your resources a little bit differently. This may be having something to do with the situation and the circumstances. People may not see that part of it. They are just seeing that there's something different with how you're moving right now in regards to your finances. But I feel like this could have something to do with you being placed in a position where you're being challenged to grow in understanding, to grow in discipline as it pertains to money, your finances, your resources, right? There's an opportunity to learn something. Whatever this is, I feel like even though you're being forced possibly to learn this lesson or to implement these changes, you're going to find out on the other side of this, Sagittarius, that it actually provides more freedom than you had before, okay? And people perceive this about you. So I don't know if they're just nosy all up in your business, trying to find out what's going on with your finances, but they're perceiving it. People are perceiving that you are, this week, that you are supported, right? You have a lot of support coming in around you, and possibly from both friends or family. This could be people that are close to you. You're close-knit, group, right? And this financial perception that people have may also be in regards to the people closest to you. They may be noticing some things about your spending habits, your finances, your discipline around finances. That may be coming from the people closest to you, your close-knit circle. Now, people are also perceiving, for some of you, a little bit of scattered energy. And this may be with some other connections that you have. People are sensing a little bit of dissension between you and whoever it is that you are in contact with. It feels like there's some tension that could be at work, could be like some dealing with some gossip for some of you. But people are perceiving some level of contention around you, happening around you. And I feel like people are also perceiving you really being protective of yourself and holding yourself in a higher measure of value, right? You may not even be as free with people that you once were. You may be being perceived as being a little bit standoffish or selfish or just holding back, right? And not being as open as you once were at one point in time, possibly. It's almost like the energy that not taking risks, right? When it comes to allowing yourself to be open. And it could have to do with your finances. Maybe you don't help people the way that you used to. Maybe you're just a little bit more stingy with your resources, right? They're perceiving you a little bit more withholding, right? When it comes to your resources and your money. They're noticing a change in that way. Yeah. And, they may not know that, but this could be because you are redirecting your resources, your energy to something that's going to be more beneficial for you, right? You may, in fact, be pouring into something else, in regards to your future. You may be saving up for something or investing in something, right? But I feel like the perception is around your finances. It's around how you're relating to people, And so that's what I have for you, Saggy. People are concerned about your money, honey. All in your pockets, counting from A to Z, right? All in the Kool-Aid and don't even know the flavor. Why are they all in your pockets? I don't understand that. 3845. All right, we have Gemini up next. Let's see. How are people perceiving Gemini? How are people perceiving Gemini? How are people perceiving Gemini? All right. How are people perceiving Gemini this week? People perceiving Gemini this week. Let's see. Hey Gemini, how y'all doing tonight? How are people perceiving Gemini this week, Spirit? Ooh, okay. So Gemini, people are perceiving you as this week as protected or protective. Either you're the one doing the protection or someone is protecting you. There may be a block. People may be wanting to, you know, connect with you, but there could be something or someone blocking that access. So they could be perceiving you as very protected, right? They could also be perceiving you as protective. Maybe you are blocking and protecting someone else, or protecting yourself for that matter. But it feels like there could be like a barrier, right? There's something that you could be working on, something that you could be, you could have that others want to know about, but you're not offering up any information. You're very protective over it. Whatever this is that you're working on or creating, people want in. They want information, but you're not giving it to them. And so they're seeing you as very protective and guarded right now. How is Gemini being perceived this week? For some of you, this could even be your baby. You're being very protective over your baby. For some of you, this could be you just being very protective over your energy and not allowing people to get close to you this week. This could be people that you normally would allow, because these are probably people that are within your immediate group. Have the Three of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. This could also be people that owe you something and haven't paid it back, right? Or people that that feel like you owe them something, right? They're perceiving you as very busy, probably juggling things, doing several things at the same time, just not really having a lot of time like you normally do. They may be perceiving you as conflicted internally about something, dealing with something that's kind of challenging you mentally. People could be perceiving you as having challenges with others, some type of power struggle that you're engaged in right now. And people could be seeing you as wanting to win, right? At this, whatever this is, at any cost, any means necessary. People see you as very competitive and, you know, as somebody who is aggressive when it comes to winning. And you don't care whose feelings you hurt in the process. And then for some, on the other side of that, I do feel like they are perceiving the very generous side of you. There could be a group that you don't allow, you know, in. That could be where this conflict is arising from. But then there's also another group that are trustworthy, that are allowed to be in your space, that are allowed to partake in what it is that you have, your resources, people that you trust that hasn't proven otherwise. So it feels like two different groups here that are perceiving you, depending on what side of the fence they have placed themselves on. For those that have proved their loyalty and their trustworthiness, they may be in the in crowd and all seeing that very generous side of you. For others that prove something different, they may be on the outside looking in and end up in this very competitive energy against you, Gemini. But you're being perceived in a couple of different ways, depending on what side of the fence people are on with you. Yeah. People perceive you as very abundant and having more than enough, financially stable, someone who they would definitely want on their team, someone who's able to actually, you know, come through, right? Some people may be perceiving you waiting on something. You've been waiting on something to come through or to come into fruition. Whatever that thing is that you're very guarded over, people are perceiving possibly your anxiousness about bringing that to pass. That's what I'm getting for you, Gemini. Depending on what side of the fence they own, right? 4640. Next, we have Aries. I forgot about Aries. Hi, Aries. How could I forget about my Aries? How are people perceiving you this week, Aries? How are people perceiving Aries this week? Let's take a look. How are people perceiving Aries this week, Spirit? How are people perceiving Aries this week? How are people perceiving Aries this week? Let's take a look. Ooh. There could be a lot of self-reflection that you are being perceived in doing this week. There could be some questions that you're trying to answer around people around you, could be around yourself, but I'm seeing someone looking into a mirror and having questions about what they see, but that mirror could also represent the people around you reflecting back to you, right? And so there's some reflection. I feel like people are perceiving you having this moment of trying to figure either yourself out or figure people out in some kind of way. There's some deep reflective moment that you're in this week where you're trying to figure someone out. And it could be you. This may have something to do with the principle of forgiveness. Maybe you're trying to figure out whether or not you want to forgive somebody, right? People may be privy to understand this process that you're going through. Maybe you're sharing it, you know. But people see you having this moment, this mirror moment. How are people perceiving Aries this week, Spirit? Ooh, we have Judgment. Maybe judgmental this week. Or making some type of judgment, making some type of decision, final decision about something or someone. And this could also be being a little bit sensitive, right? Making the decision to give somebody grace with that forgiveness card coming out. This could be someone within or who used to be within your close group. Maybe they still are, maybe they're not. The Three of Cups talks about your close-knit group, right? And there's some decision that you're making. You're making a decision. For some of you, you're being perceived as processing this decision that you're making. You're processing it. You're examining, you know, the different facts around the different decisions that you could make. Now, for some of you, this is for a whole different group of Aries. For some of you, people are seeing you as a little bit delusional this week. And when I say delusional, it's because the way that you're seeing things, it's almost like you have entered into this space where you are almost like fantasizing and living out your fantasy. However that looks, whatever that means, someone is completely indulging in their desires, right? And they don't care who knows, don't care who sees. So people are seeing you a little bit in la la land this week. While some of you are actually critically thinking, others are completely, you know, given to this moment of fantasy, right? You're out there this week. And this could be in response to feeling some type of limitations, you know, that you perceive you have. And this is your way of, you know, pushing back against those limitations. It's like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And I don't care. And I'm going to enjoy every bit of it, right? It's almost like the person that has certain restrictions, like they don't need to have a lot of salt, or they know they're not supposed to have all that sugar, and they're like, I'm about to celebrate this week, right? I'm going to eat all of the cupcakes I want. I'm going to have all of the French fries, extra salt. You know, it's almost like that kind of energy, just completely in la la land, indulging, right? However that looks, someone has given over this week, and they're being perceived that way too. People are watching you do this. And I feel like it's like a retaliation of some kind against some limit that has been placed on you, right? But for the most part, I feel like this is around the energy of needing to release something. Something needs to be released here. You know, the energy of forgiveness talks about that energy of releasing someone, or even releasing yourself from some ought, you know, that you may feel like you could have done better or whatever. But there's something here around release this week. People are perceiving you in that energy. Okay. All right. Let's see. We have 5425 with Libra. 5425 with Libra. All right. And so, how are people perceiving you this week, Libra? How are people perceiving you this week, Libra? people perceiving you this week, Libra? How are people perceiving Libra this week? Let's see, Libra. Ooh. As being really stable and on schedule. I feel like people are perceiving you as sticking close to your routines, right? If you go to bed at 9 o'clock, right, you're in the bed at 9, like you're not straying away from that. I feel like people are perceiving you as really possibly trying to actually get some part of your life in order, right? And really sticking to a routine to implement that. And this could be something that you're introducing. This could be around something that you're introducing to your life, something new that you're learning, or something that you're teaching someone, right? I do get that energy. People are perceiving you as trying something new or learning a new way of being, or possibly even in the energy of a teacher teaching this. This week, you're very consistent, right? People are perceiving you as being very, very consistent in what it is that you do. Also very decisive as well with the Judgment. I feel like you are being perceived and being clear with what it is that you feel like you need right now. The High Priestess. People are also perceiving you as possibly, if it is concerning love, you could be being perceived as a little bit ungrounded and a little bit in la la land if it is concerning love, right? Also getting to know yourself more as well. Getting to know yourself and starting to really try to trust yourself more. People are perceiving you as connecting or finding ways to really look within right now. People are seeing you as looking within yourself and operating from an internal space right now, this week, right? Also, very busy, right? Very busy, on schedule. You could actually have different things that you're giving your energy to, but it seems very organized. People are perceiving you as waiting for something to come through. They're seeing you waiting for something to come through. You could actually be in some type of group of some kind where there's something that you're working on in terms of finances with a group of people to be successful and make that thing successful. So I do see some level of collaboration that you could be investing part of your time into. It's almost like some level of shared energy, shared resources in some type of way. People are perceiving you as being connected in different things in that way. Learning how to multitask and juggle, right? And so this could be like a moment of higher learning for you, not necessarily sitting in a classroom, but through experience. And they're perceiving you as a very caring, very sensitive, the go-to person in the group that's trustworthy, you know, the one that you can go and feel safe with. You could tell them your secrets and they'll take it to the grave, right? They're seeing you as very trustworthy and loving, almost like a mother figure. You're being perceived in that energy, Libra, okay? 101, and we have Aquarius. Take a look at how Aquarius is being perceived this week. How is Aquarius being perceived this week? How is Aquarius being perceived this week? Why am I hearing black sheep? I don't know if that's coming back up for someone. I'm hearing black sheep. And so you could be perceived as the one that, you know, left out in the cold. The one that ends up being like the savior for the family, right? The one that always takes the fall. All right, let's see. For Aquarius. Yeah. So this week you could be perceived as very protective, Aquarius, very assertive, very territorial too. If there's someone new that stepped onto your job, you're letting them know how things are, right? This could be to do with family, just kind of setting firm boundaries, reasserting boundaries. You could be perceived as doing what you need to do, right, on this week to assist yourself in your own healing, right? You could be very protective this week, very self-caring, right? I do feel like you're being perceived in the energy of caring for yourself and where it is that you are, what it is that you're involved with, who it is that you're involved with. I also see like very high level of protection for those that you consider are under your care or those that are within your community. You may be guarding, being perceived as very guarding this week. Come out in your own reading. We have the Star. And so I do feel like you're being perceived as being very connected to yourself, open to heal yourself, very in tune with yourself. People are perceiving you as someone who is being guided and led by spirit. I do feel like people are perceiving you as having a connection, like with your higher power, with source, and they're seeing that, they're perceiving that about you. Whatever it is that you're doing, I don't know if you are actually active, right? outwardly with your display of manifesting. I don't know if you're someone who actually does physical manifestation work. People are perceiving you as a magician in that way, someone who's able to manifest or make things happen, kind of like a, and I'm hearing hustler, like a spiritual hustler. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way or a bad way, because a hustler is someone that can take what they have and make it what they want, right? It's someone who is very perceptive and understand. They're able to get into the minds of those with a need and serve them what they need, and so in order to get what they need, right? And so they're perceiving you this week as someone who is resourceful and crafty. King of Wands, yeah. The go-to person, right? If you want something done, go to Aquarius. They'll get it done for you. They know what they're doing. And it does feel again like a very strong spiritual connection. So you could be someone who puts together things for people. You serve the spiritual community in some type of way. Very connected to your intuition and is able to do things quickly, right? You're the go-to person. Also there's a level of passion that you're being perceived in for what it is that you do. Very aggressive and inspirational. Someone who knows what they're doing. And people may see you fighting to really exist in the way that you see yourself existing in the world. Breaking through glass ceilings, I'm hearing. Setting new standards, breaking traditions, breaking out of the boxes that people have tried to put you in. People see you actually setting new precedences, probably establishing territory as well. Also, whatever it is that you do is very healing. That might be the backing or the motivation behind what it is that you're doing. People are seeing you in this way. There's something about you that's very healing. 66 could be your number. Yeah. Hey, this is beautiful. I like it. Very guided energy. But that's how people are seeing you this week, Aquarius, as the master, right? All right, 108.45, we have Virgo. Let's see how people are perceiving Virgo this week. So whatever you're doing, Aquarius, listen. It's helping. All right, Virgo. How are people perceiving you this week, Virgo? How are people perceiving you this week, Virgo? How are people perceiving you this week, Virgo? Let's see how people are perceiving Virgo this week. How are people perceiving Virgo this week? Ooh. So either people are perceiving you as haughty, right? Being full of yourself a little bit because of what it is that you can do, or what you have. Or people are seeing you, the other side of that is people are seeing you as very graceful and thankful in how you handle what you have. It's either one or the other, okay? How are people perceiving Virgo this week, Spirit? Let's take a look. So some people could be perceiving you in the energy of being privileged, right? Being privileged. But again, that could go two different ways, you know, depending on how you display that. People could be perceiving you as I don't know why I'm hearing standing still, like not moving, or struggling with moving. People could see you struggling with moving and struggling with like the options that you have right now, and in a very heavy energy. It's almost like people are watching you carry a load, right? And by choice, though, this heaviness that people are seeing you in right now is something that you've decided to do, right? You chose to do this. And people are seeing you struggling doing it. They're perceiving that you're struggling, right? It doesn't mean that the struggle is not going to produce some greater level of glory for you on the other side of this, but there's some struggle that people are perceiving you in right now. People could also be perceiving you as a little bit delusional where you are right now and what you're doing right now. They don't see what you see, right? Which doesn't mean that what you see is not real, Virgo. They're just not seeing it. They're seeing you as a little bit delusional right now. And they might not say it, but that's how they're perceiving you. They are also perceiving you as being someone who's very multi-faceted, multi-talented. Like they see so many different values that you have, so many different gifts that you carry, so many different skills even that you have. They see you plugged into many different sources or avenues where you could actually allow your giftings to flow forward. They see you multi-packed with lots of potential, and possibly perceiving you as looking, right, for a place to plug in that potential, right? That's part of the struggle that they're seeing you in. Now, let me say this. On the bottom of the deck, I have the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. To me, that says that on the other side of this is your abundance, is your reward for what you're carrying, for what you're choosing to endure right now. Just because other people don't see it doesn't mean that it's not real, right? This is how they're perceiving you, right? Through this process. Everything is a process, right? And so whatever it is that you're operating in right now, it feels heavy in this part of the process, and they're perceiving that. Now, depending on how you're responding to that struggle, as I said in the beginning, it could be being puffed up and like allowing your ego to really overtake this process, right? Or it could be being, very receptive to the lessons that you're learning through this, and acknowledging the difficulty humbly, and so depending on how you are responding to being in this process right now, it could determine how people are perceiving you through this. Yeah. And so that's what I see for you, Virgo. All right, that's how people are perceiving you this week. Okay. So I have 1/1655 for Capricorn. All right. Capricorn, how are people viewing you this week? How are they perceiving you this week? How are people perceiving Capricorn this week? How are people perceiving Capricorn this week? How are people perceiving Capricorn this week? Let's take a look. Ooh. People could be perceiving you from a distance, first of all, but people could be perceiving you as in a way where they're seeing you trying to get a better understanding. And in trying to get that better understanding, you're kind of, pulled back so that you can see things from a greater perspective. You know how sometimes they say when you want to see the beautifulest part of the city, go to a mountain if you live near mountains, and it gives you a whole different perspective, a whole different radius where you're able to see how things are connected. Even the landlines, you can see it better. And so it's almost like people are perceiving you backing up in some type of way and looking at things in a different perspective. They're perceiving you being very observant of something. Now, other people are perceiving you in your role as a parent. They're perceiving like something about the way that you parent. There's something about your parenting that people are perceiving about you. I don't know if you're sharing some of that with someone, but it's causing someone to perceive you as a parent. Or in a motherly or fatherly way. Doesn't mean that they see you as their mother or father, but they're seeing you from that perspective. And they could feel like you're trying to parent them, for whoever this is. I'm also hearing someone is perceiving you as you're giving them advice around parenting. And this week, Capricorn, we have the Six of Wands and the Star. Ooh, somebody's flying on cloud 9 this week. I feel like people are seeing you in a very exalted way. Like people could be putting you on a pedestal in some type of way this week. I don't know what you're doing, and I don't know if it's around giving parental advice or being nurturing to someone, but someone sees you in a very high light. Someone is actually perceiving you on a pedestal as being higher than they. Someone is seeing you and perceiving you as victorious, like as of overcoming something, right? And so they're proud of you. They're applauding you. They're seeing you as worthy of being uplifted and celebrated and congratulated for what accomplishment that you're going to do this week. They actually see you as pretty wise and someone that has wisdom and knowledge and a connection that's worthy of listening to. Someone is seeing you and perceiving you as being very hopeful, this very positive light for them. Yeah. I see you getting a lot of accolades this week, Capricorn. And I do feel like you are being perceived as having options in life. Right now, lots of choices to choose from. Someone who has options, right? That's how you're being perceived. I also feel like there could be some perceptions around you being really disciplined and being willing to do what it takes to get what it is that you want. So someone is seeing you as being very balanced and self-controlled, someone who's able to do what is needed, right, to pull in the results that they want. And someone could be perceiving you as like being on the brink of having this overwhelming breakthrough. Someone has perceived you as someone who is deserving of this energy that you're stepping into, where you're getting these accolades and this good treatment, right? Someone sees you as worthy of that because of what you've been through. That's for you, Capricorn, this week. Lots of good energy around you. People are perceiving you as worthy of the best, okay? Better than the rest. 2505. And we have Taurus last. Let's see. How are people perceiving you this week, Taurus? And we will end it here. How are people perceiving you this week, Taurus? How are people perceiving you this week, Taurus? How are people perceiving Taurus this week, Spirit? Let's see. How are people perceiving Taurus this week? Let's see. Last but not least, Taurus. Okay. All right. So this week, Taurus, I feel like people are perceiving you as, number one, being connected to nature, being connected with your environment, connected with animals, possibly even insects and plants, being very connected to your environment and healing to your environment. This week, people are perceiving you as being even protective, being a little bit possessive when it comes to nature and your environment, whatever that is. Possibly even putting up boundaries when it comes to your environment. That could be nature in general. It could also mean your immediate environment, your space. You could be a little bit guarded this week as it pertains to your space. There could be something that you are trying to protect, like energy, right? You could be trying to protect your home space, trying to guard against anything that would come in and create and destroy what you're creating. Excuse me. Let me get a little sip. But it feels like there's something that's within your environment that you are very protective of, and people are going to be perceiving that this week. I don't know what you're doing or what you're trying to create in your environment, but it's going to cause you to actually have stronger boundaries with your environment this week. So that could be personal. That could also be general as it pertains to nature, okay? Very protective energy. People are perceiving you in this very protective energy. For some of you, you could actually run across a nest this week that you're going to take in and nurture to life, and you will create this very strong boundary to create the right environment for these unborn animals. There's some level of protection that you're going to extend out into nature, out into the environment around you. This is also, I feel like, going to cause you to be perceived as someone who is invested, right? Someone who is invested in nature. Even if you haven't been up to this point, you're going to be perceived that way, as someone who has an investment in nature and who is very connected and very involved. I also feel like you'll be perceived as someone who has a passion for this as well. Someone who has a passion, someone who's willing to go all out, and even, you know, even to the point where it feels like you would be willing to put your life on the line for this, whatever this is that you'll be protective about, something that you'll be willing to take, you know, shots to protect. You'll be willing to, you know, take the fall for what this is that you believe in, that you stand for, that you'll be protective of. It has very healing energy. It almost has activist energy as well. You're going to be perceived in the light of an activist this week for whatever this is that you'll be taking a stand for. And it almost feels like you'll be perceived as someone that comes in and changes policies, changes ways, you know, someone that's willing to do the hard things, to change things in society that may need, you know, changing. Almost like a whistleblower, right? You'll be perceived as someone like that. But it's for the good, though. Yeah. And so that's what I see for you, Taurus. Someone possibly taking a stand. If this is not in general for nature, but this is something that you are creating for yourself. This is like your immediate environment, something that you're willing to stand and protect at all costs. Something that you'll take in personally, okay? And that you are very passionate about. You're being perceived in that way, very committed to. And you're going to be in this very protective energy around it this week. People are going to perceive that about you. They may, in fact, add more onto it than it is, but this is how they're perceiving you, as passionate, you know, somebody that's willing to go all out for what it is that they believe in. And so that's how you'll be perceived this week. And it almost feels like a martyr. It feels like that kind of energy, just completely going all out for what you believe. And so that's what I'm hearing, to save the planet. It doesn't have to be that, but it feels like that to me. Whatever this is that you believe in, you'll be perceived as willing to do whatever it takes to protect this, right? And so that's what I have for you guys. And so I hope you enjoyed the reading tonight. I tried to keep it really short, just dip in and dip out. I know my readings can get kind of lengthy, but I'll go ahead and put timestamps so you can jump right to your message. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, if you enjoyed this, I'll go ahead and post another video here. Make sure that you subscribe, right? All you have to do is click on the moon here And if you subscribe, make sure that you hit the bell so you'll be notified in case I go live or post new content. And if you enjoyed this video, I'll go ahead and post another one that's kind of similar to this one. And you may like that one too, right? I have lots of videos that you can go back to. This one, we're going to go ahead and call this timeless. So no matter when you click on this, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be a week from today, a year from today, a month from today, right? Whenever you click on this, we're going to say it's going to be applicable for your sign. That was the time that you were meant to click on it and hear the message. But I'm also going to post another video here. You might like that one as well. Another timeless one, okay? All right, my name is Letty, and you are here with Blood Moon Oracle. Thank you. And until next time, I hope you guys take care and enjoy your week.